Monsieur le Président
Mr. President Basescu, Mr. President Martens, dear Wilfried, ladies and gentlemen, heads of states and governments, ladies and gentlemen, it's quite an honor for me to address this brilliant audience in my capacity of Secretary General of UMP, a party, alas, of the opposition in my country, France. I do it with dignity and joy, as the European Union just received the Peace Nobel Prize. We must be proud of that. It is thanks to the founders of the European Union, and it is for us a source of renewed commitment. The Congress of EPP is a unique opportunity for exchanges, meetings, and I'd like to greet President Basescu and give him all my hopes for the future elections. I would like also to thank President Martens and the team of the EPP, who were able to turn this event into a major moment. Europe is facing an important moment because of the crisis, a moment of concerns, but also a moment of hopes. And in this context, in this environment, we have to show that EPP is not only a gathering of value-sharing parties. EPP also aims at making sure that European leaders agree and prepare the major political decisions that will pave the way of our future living together. The principles of entrepreneurship, of free market, all these principles are shared by all our political parties. But we must now anticipate on the future of Europe. And this explains that today only 6 countries in the European Union are ruled and governed by left-wing parties, whereas we have among our leaders Herman Van Rompuy and José Manuel Barroso. And we have to maintain this balance of powers, even if, especially at the moment when the crisis is so heavy and damaging for many of our citizens. And I'd like to tell you some words of caution against the left-wing governments which promote ideology and not pragmatism, and more particularly, those which deny reality as it stands. Dear friends, the institutional debate that is taking place in all our member states, should we be a federation or confederation, this important debate must take place. But it will take time to solve this issue. And it can only be solved if we involve the European citizens. And we, French people, we paid the price of the failure of our last referendum, because many of our citizens are afraid. And what they deem important is the results. A Europe that produces, a Europe that innovates. But this institutional debate will take time, and we don't have this time because it's so urgent for all the member states to make the structural reforms we need. And it is the concept of a Europe of results, which is close to the heart of my dear friend, the member of the French delegation to the EPP group. Dear friends, the only solution will be competitiveness. And this is the project, this is the vision we need to advance at the level of the European Union. The European Union will be strong only if all the member states are able to make these needed structural reforms. Just as our German friends did, Angela Merkel, you are the example we have to follow. Our economic strategy must promote competitiveness. We must do our best to reduce the deficit by reducing the expenditures and not raising the tax. We have to combat outsourcing, and we have to put employment top on the agenda and further develop the SMEs. We'll have to lower the social contributions. We have to develop a new working pattern, and we have also to focus on export in order to compete with emerging countries. On all these topics, dear friends, we can see a European political project, around an economic strategy. I think, and I've always been thinking, that many of our citizens will not consider that the message of deficit reduction is sufficient. Of course, it is needed, it is essential, but to mobilize the economic actors, we'll have to work more on competitiveness. We have to promote competitiveness. We have to convince all our citizens that with this project on competitiveness, it will increase their purchasing power. It will multiply the economic activities at regional level, at local level, at national. More prosperity in a continent still looking for the 21st century's identity, a century where, when there are so many communautarism and so many different ideologies, the party that we represent have a role to play in this. Our parties will have to disseminate the European idea. The UMP is in favor of more Europe, and we will participate in this collective endeavor, and we will do our best to help EPP do what we aim to do. In spite of some reservations we will share with you tomorrow, I must tell you as soon as today that we will vote, we'll adopt the party platform, even if we proposed some amendments, and we fully support the renewal of the most European of the French people, my friend Barnier, as a vice president of the EPP. Thank you.